Yeah. So the Rishi, as Pipalada, answering the first question as to how the various creatures have come into being, started telling that the Prajapati, means the Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma, started the entire creation with by creating a Mithunam. Mithunam means a pair. Pair of what? Prana and Rai. Prana, we all know the word prana. We can take it as the energy aspect or the subtle consciousness aspect in this creation was created by Chaturmukha Brahma. And along with prana, he also created something called Rai. Rai can be broadly taken as the matter. So there is a gross matter and there is a subtle energy aspect that got created by Brahma. And this matter can also be, Rai normally actually is directly, if you take the translation in Sanskrit, it is actually translated as food. Food or the matter. Food is annam or the matter that is there, and the prana aspect which is there. These two got created. And Rishi says the Prajapati, the Brahma, expected then that these two will in turn create the various creatures that have come into picture. So the idea is that every jiva that gets created will have two aspects to that. One is called the material aspect, which is called Rai, or the food aspect, which is called Rai. And the second one is a subtler aspect, which is called Prana. Broadly, we can say that consciousness aspect or the life factor, sentiency aspect, which is there. These two got created, and these two in turn created this entire variety of jivas that we see in this world. He starts with that. And then for doing upasana is instead of focusing on the individual aspects for us, he says that prana is equivalent to sun. And the matter aspect or the food aspect is related to the moon. So he compared the prana and rai to sun and the moon. Aditya is the term that is used. In fact, Aditya term itself, when we talk about, comes from the fact of an eater. The one who is eating is Aditya. So Aditi is the word that is used in Sanskrit for reflecting an eater, the one who eats. So sun is something which eats and moon is something that is eaten. There's broadly a upasana aspect that we talk about. Means you don't directly say sun is equal to the energy or prana, but there are certain aspects of sun which is equivalent to the prana. There are certain aspects of moon which are equivalent to rai. That is how generally the upasana is done. So in order to understand there is oneness among the entire creatures that get created, we do certain contemplation on these broad philosophies or principles as we talk about. For example, when the sun comes in the morning, the objects that are there out in the world, the creation becomes visible to the people. Whether we are able to see, we are able to understand the entire nature of this creation based on the sun that rises in the morning. Similarly, when prana rises in the morning, for example, a person goes to sleep, when he gets up, the prana then will make the entire individual visible to us. Means all the five senses will come alive, all the 10 senses, in fact, the five of action, five of knowledge come alive, mind gets alive, intellect gets alive, body gets alive, everything is available for us for utilization. Similarly, when the sun rises in the morning, the entire world becomes visible to us, or we can experience, so to say, the entire creation aspects that are there. So this is something called samya. Samya means there is a comparison between the sun and the prana in that sense. So the sun is then taken as representative of this entire prana aspect. Similarly, moon, if you take, it is only a reflected light. We know that. And it actually comes and goes. Sun, every day when it comes, a similar type of the entire aspect is available, but moon is not like that. It goes up and down. So it goes from new moon to full moon to new moon, and you have see actually various phases of moon. Similarly, the Anna aspect, matter aspect, which is there, is not continuously available for us. If you eat food, it becomes very energetic. If you don't eat food, it appears slowly, 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 we will lose the strength available in the body. And unless we feed it with annam, with food, it won't regain this entire energy aspect. Similarly, the moon we talk about, it's as if when you eat, it becomes full moon, and then it goes down. And then unless you replenish, the strength will not be there for the matter. So that generally that is the idea of seeing certain similarities between, and hence sun is taken to represent the prana and moon is taken to represent the
one question. You said that because, or it is there given that because of the sun we see or experience everything, right? But generally, so far we have been reading, it is consciousness within us that makes us see even the sun. That's
correct. That is one step ahead. One step above that is that. You are referring to that famous Mundaka Upanishad.
I don't know what I am referring to, but we have read it, so I just said it. Okay.
Yeah, Natatra Suryo Bhatina Chandra Tarakam. You are talking about. But here we are talking of a Ajnani trying to overcome that limited beingness that one feels, and how I overcome that limited to becoming a limitless consciousness. Yeah. So here we are talking about that particular aspect which is being told about. That you do the upasana on the sun to overcome this limitedness that I feel as a jiva. That is the basic idea. Yeah. And the sixth verse did talk about that Aditya going into the east and collecting all the pranas, and when that Aditya or the sun, when it goes to different areas of the creation, becomes very, very, the same prana is praskandanti. It makes the entire jivas come alive, so to say, and activities come up only with the sun coming up in the morning. When it goes down, generally people tend to go to sleep and the activity comes down. So that was the basic idea in terms of understanding these two. And in the verse 7, I think we already read that as well. It talks about Saesha Vaishwanaro Vishwarupaha Prano Agni Udayate Tadedat Richa Bhuktyam. This is more Vaishwanara we talked about, in seeing that oneness of the livingness, so to say, or the very aspect of life is there in each and every jiva that we talk about, and a combination of all that put together is Vaishwanara. And again, how Vaishwanara is linked to the sun? The idea is that once a person wakes up in the morning, so to say, the Vaishwanara Agni, it's as if Agni is is rising in the morning. Means what? Every jiva will feel that hunger. So Vaishwanara Agni is taken as the hunger associated with each one of us, which makes us eat food, annam. So again, the sun and moon are brought about in terms of a totality aspect of that. And this Vaishwanara Agni will rise in the morning along with the prana. When the prana rises, means when we wake up in the morning, the Vaishwanara Agni will make you eat the annam. So the eater and the eaten, so to say, the concepts or the pair is being brought about here. And not at the individual level again. Rishi is making sure we understand that it is at a totality level. And he says that Vaishwanara, and another word that he uses is Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa means all the forms that are there. In Bhagavad Gita, we talk about Virat. Yeah. So the Virat aspect is the physical forms that are there. And Vishwarupa is more in terms of the collective associated, the I-ness that is there in each one of us. And Vaishwanara is the general life form of everything, the gross body consciousness, like we can say. So that consciousness which is there at a overall level is called Vaishvanara. So again, is linking to sun and moon in one way, and they are trying to put across. And he quoted in the verse 8. If you take verse 8, I don't know whether we read this. We will read this once again and take it forward from there. Yeah. Vishwarupam Harinam Jatavedasam Parayanam Jyotirekam Tapantam Parayanam Jyotirekam Tapantam Sahasra Rashmihi Shatadha Vartamanaha Pranaha Prajanam Udayastesha Suryaha Pranaha Prajanam Udayatyesha Suryaha. I think we read this one before, but anyway. So the idea is so Vishwarupam Harinam. Vishwarupam, the universal form. We have seen already. All forms put together is Vishwarupam. This was discussed in the last verse as well. Harinam. So now Harinam is nothing but full of rays. Harinam is full of rays. So the sun with full rays that are coming is Vishwarupam. Jata Vedasam. Jata Vedasam is omniscient, present everywhere. That Rashmi that is there is present in terms of rays, is present everywhere. That means to say, same consciousness is there in every jiva. So that consciousness is present right inside each one of us, Parayanam, the basis of Jyotisham. Jyotisham, effulgent, full of light, let us say. Ekam Tapantam, one who gives the heat. So the idea is normally taken, that when somebody is lying and you don't know the person is alive or not, if you touch, the touch should, if the heat is there, you say, oh, he's still alive. But if the body becomes very cold, that means gone. So similarly, the Vaishvanara provides that heat inside each one of us. So it's called Tapantam. Similar to the sun, yeah. When sun is there, the heat is there. When Vaishvanara is there, the heat is there. So that prana and tapantam, the heat is being talked about here. And sahasra rashmihi, and thousands of suns. Sahasra is thousand. Thousand is not a number, but generally used in our shastras, say many rays associated. So many such rays actually kind of support or sustain this entire creation of jivas that we talk about. Shatadha vartamana. Shatadha, again, thousands of rays, Shatadha, in hundreds of ways, they exist. So it only says that although the physical body may be different between so many jivas that are there, it is Shatadha Vartamana. Many thousands of these rays sustain these hundreds of creation that we talk about. So Vaishvanara is that particular consciousness which supports the jivas in terms of the entire creation that is there. So it's the same thing which sustains the entire this one. Pranaha. Pranaha, we have already seen many times. It is prana or the life force that we talk about. Prajanam, of the creatures, Udayanti Surya. So it is similar to when Surya comes up. Similarly, when Vaishvanara comes up, the entire the creation comes alive, so to say. In the night, it may be sleeping, but morning when this particular Vaishvanara supports the entire thousands and thousands of life forms that we talk about. So seeing that life force as each one of us is the way of telling that I am not that individual selfish existence, but I am that Vaishvanara who is present everywhere. And this body, which is sustained by this Vaishvanara by giving the warmth that is there, is only an instrument that I use. That is the general idea that we are looking at. Okay. So we will go to verse number 9 now. Yeah. Any questions? Anybody? Okay. Samvatsaro vai Prajapatihi tasyayane dakshinam chottaram cha tadyeha vai tadishtapurtihi kritam ityupasate te chandra masameva lokam abhijayante tayeva punaravartante tasmadetad rushayah prajakamaha dakshinam pratipadyante.
I think you missed one. Am I just? No.
Okay.
Sorry, it's my mistake. Thank you.
No problem. Tasmadetat rushayah prajakama dakshinam pratipadyante yeshah vai rairyah pitruyanah. So samvatsaro vai prajapati. So now the creation of the time linked to the same sun and moon will be brought about in the next three verses. So basically the time that we are talking about is easily understandable to us in terms of either year, which is called samvatsara, or it is called in terms of masa, that is the month associated with the moon, or it is based on the day, which is again based on the a moon and the sun put together. So the idea again is coming back in terms of the time linked to sun and moon again. He is consistently maintaining that particular aspect in terms of this. Samvatsaro vai prajapati. So the idea is telling that samvatsara, the sun, when the earth goes round the sun, the complete cycle will become a solar year. In our response, a solar year is when the earth completely completes the revolution around the sun and comes back to the same position. So this particular aspect is being taken as the Prajapati himself has come out with this. So the idea is that the sun and the moon are nothing but Prajapati, and sun and moon are only an effect of the Prajapati. So here sun, moon and earth, all the three we are talking about, is nothing but the same Prajapati. Prajapati is the Brahma. So he not only he created sun and moon, but he has arranged them in such a way that the samvatsara is made possible for us to measure by the very aspect of revolution that he created. So he himself has manifested as this samvatsara. So again, this is at a broader level, trying to see the aspects that are there, which are beyond the physical reality that we are seeing. He has arranged in such a way that time aspect is coming in this. Yeah. What we must understand about this is not that he has created time by having this earth and sun and the moon and revolutions that are there, but he made it possible for us to measure by this cyclical activity that he is created, is how it is being told. Time is created already, only it is making us possible to measure it. That's all. By this cyclical activity, the measurement is made possible. Not that the time aspect is created through this revolution. One must understand that. Yeah. Even if this measurement is not there, the concept of time is created by that Prajapati, and that concept is nothing but Prajapati. So we always say that he is the creator, and created is nothing but the creator, so to say. Yeah. Samvatsaro vai Prajapati. And tasya ayane dakshinam cha uttaram cha. So in the second line, it's ayane dakshinam cha uttaram cha. So here a broad concept is being brought about, which is talking about the dakshinayana and uttarayana. I am sure all of you must have heard about this. Anybody who has not heard these terms, dakshinayana and uttarayana? All of you heard, huh? Okay. That makes it easy in terms of this. So this Uttarayanam, in fact, in our calendars, it starts from January 15th or 14th. When this Sankranti comes into picture, the Uttarayanam will start for us. But physically, if you take at this time, actually the winter solstice and summer solstice is the one which we talk about. The winter solstice is the one happened physically on December 21st, if you take it that way. So if we are if we follow the physical aspects of it, we should have changed our Uttarayanam now in this current time from December 21st. But unfortunately, we continue to use January 14th as our Uttarayanam date, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. As long as we all understand what this is, it is okay. The change in this winter solstice happens because of the earth, the wobble of the earth, which actually while rotating, it also wobbles like a top. And because of that, the time aspect actually changes. It comes down. So maybe another 2000 years before, it was on 14th of December, maybe 4000 years before, it was end of January, let us say. So 2000 years back, it must have happened around January 14th or 15th. And at that time, we say that Uttarayanam started on January 14th. But right now, it came down to December 21st. So there is a scientific way why this particular thing is changing or coming down. Doesn't matter. So this Dakshinayanam, Uttarayanam. So from January 15th till around June 21st, we call that period as Uttarayanam. Means what? Uttara Ayanam. Ayanam, like Ramayana, Ayana means journey. So the journey Ram has taken is Ramayana. Similarly, we talk about the sun going from the southern direction to the northern direction is called Uttarayana. And when he turns back and he comes from the northern direction to the southern direction, we call that period as Dakshinayana. So Dakshinayanam will start around June 21st, ends with January 15th, and Uttarayanam starts from January 15th till June, around that particular time, June 21st. Is that clear? What is Uttarayanam? What is Dakshinayanam? Okay. So the entire idea of this Dakshinayanam, Uttarayanam, tadehavai tadishtapurtihi krutamitya upasate. So here it is being told that those who follow the path of karma which is there, which is being done, they perform sacrificial and pious acts. And what do they gain by doing this karma? Kritamityupasate te chandramasameva lokabhi jayante. So they go to something is being called as Chandraloka. So those people who follow the karma marga, they go to Chandramasameva, they go there. Ta eva punaravartante. What do? They come back. So here it is being told as to why jivas are taking birth. Remember, that is the original question. Now Rishi is telling that because of the sun and moon representations which are there, etc., if I take the time period of Samvatsaram, 1 year, I split this into two. One is called Dakshinayana, other is called Uttarayana. And people who follow this Dakshinayana and Uttarayana, they are nothing but following certain ways of karma they do. He is now bringing karma into picture. And those people who are doing this karma will get a phala. And these people, they go at the time of death, they go to Chandraloka. And this Chandraloka, they will punaravartante. Those are the souls who will come back. How do they come back? Tasmadetat rushayah prajakamaha dakshinam pradipadyante. So those people who are following the dakshina path. In our shastras, when we talk about dakshina, Dakshina is the south, and south path is always the path of karma. Karma means actions. Those who take up actions, those people will go to the Chandraloka, and these jivas will come back at the end of certain period. We will see what that is. Yeshahavai Rairya Pitruyana. Pitruyanam again is called the path of the parents. Pitru is parents. So our forefathers. Whoever forefathers have gone to this Chandraloka, we know have come back into again by taking birth in this world once again as the creatures. So broadly now Rishi is bringing out the using the same concept of sun and moon. Now he is telling us that those who follow Dakshina path, means the path of karma, those are the people who will come back. In the next verse, we will see that he will bring in those who follow the path of jnana, what will happen to them. Yeah. So the idea is generally he is telling that there are two aspects possible with this concept of karma and jnana, and those who follow this karma will go to something called Chandramarga. Chandramarga is nothing but the matter. Means those who follow matter, those who follow food, means those who follow the desire, the path of desire, will go to Chandraloka, spend some time there, and come back. Those are the people who are taking birth in this particular, this one second. So here Gurudev's commentary, I will read that particular this one, that makes it easy for us to then understand possibly. The ear is indeed Prajapati. So he's telling the ear is indeed Prajapati, and there are two paths. What do you mean by there are two paths? One is called the southern path and other is called the northern path. If you really see this northern part, everybody understand why it is called Dakshinayana and Uttarayana physically in terms of this one? Everybody is clear on that?
Because of the sun?
Yeah. So what happens? Sun is supposed to rise from the east for us. Normally that is what we say, sun rises in the east and sets in the west. But if I every day face the east, yeah, and note down at what point I am seeing the sunrise, it is not always at the exact east that it rises, but actually it appears as if when I am facing the east, in Dakshinayana, for example, on June 21st, this particular thing will be to the extreme north, so not fully north, but towards north. It comes like that. It happens at the north, and then next day, you will see slowly the sunrise doesn't happen exactly at the same spot. It travels to the southern area, and it travels right up to the southern some point, and then it comes back on.
That's why in the north there is long days for 6 months. They say they have darkness at the winter time, and that's what it is.
Correct. It varies because of that. And when the December 21st, when it comes, it reaches the extreme southern point there, and again it will come back, starts going towards north. The sunrise will start moving to the north. It's not fully north, but somewhere in between. It travels between towards north and it comes back to the south. So this journey is called as Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. Generally, that is what this two is. So here there are two paths, the southern and the northern. Now we must understand, it is not that just because it is moving to the north or south, we have karma and non-karma. We do karma every time, really speaking. There is nothing that karma will stop. But generally it is being told here, those who follow Dakshinayana, Dakshina path. So this is being again a upasana. It is only a thing in terms of understanding the nature of our being and doing. So he says those who follow the path of karma. So Dakshinayana is taken as path of karma, and they perform sacrificial and pious acts, obtain only the world of moon. So they are the people who are obtaining the path of the world of moon, and certainly they do return again. They are the people who will come back again. Therefore, those sages who desire offspring take the southern route. So here what we are seeing is even the rishis, if they desire progeny, they follow Dakshinayana, they follow the path of karma, and matter is very the path of forefathers. So here we are telling this Dakshina path is the path of forefathers or Pitruyana. Pitruyana is forefathers who have, means those who come back follow the path of karma. In short, that's what is being told here in this verse. The the whole idea what we are looking at is Dakshinayana and Uttarayana, etc., is again a symbolism that is being told about. Yeah, why Dakshina path is taken as karma marga? If you take any agrarian society like in India, where it is dependent on this monsoon season, basically coming in the month of around June, the water will come, and this water will fill all the lakes, it will fill all the rivers. In the north, we have a better way because the rivers come from the Himalayas. So they are continuously present. Water is continuously present in Ganga and Brahmaputra, etc. But if you come to the southern India, which is depending on the monsoon for their rains, even in northern India, Narmada, for example, is purely a monsoon-fed river. So June, when it comes, the farmers will start plowing the land when the rains come. So the entire activity starts around June. For the people in agrarian societies, it starts in the month of June. And by the time of December, the crop will be ready and the crop will come home somewhere around January 15th or December, somewhere it comes home. And next 6 months, when the summer starts, really speaking, they don't have much work. They sit at home, enjoy the crops, enjoy the food that has come home because of the activity they have done in the Dakshinayana. So in the Dakshinayana portion, there is a lot of activity that comes about. And in the Uttarayana, which is there, people enjoy the fruits of that particular action that they have taken, is how generally being looked at. So Dakshina or Dakshinayana is taken as the path of action, path of karma. And you enjoy the results of that during your Uttarayana. So that is generally why it is taken as that. If you take the Dakshina as the path of karma, that is how it is being told. And those people who are doing this karma, Gurudev talks about this as Ishtam and Purtam. He says there are two ways people do the job, do the work of karma. Now remember, those people who don't even believe in all this, they are out of the equation altogether. So here we are talking of those people who believe in karma theory, and there is a punarjanma associated with that, they will come back. We are only talking of those people. They do the work in terms of Ishtam and Purtam. Ishtam is that type of work which is taken up, Gurudev says, is those people who are doing the activities as enjoined by Shastras, as Vedas. So you can take that as yajna, they do the self-control, meditation, or the truthfulness. So whatever is enjoined by Vedas, if you do, it becomes Ishtam. And those people who may not really do as subscribed by the Vedas, but still good activities, those are called Purtam. Means what? More like people who do voluntary work. So it is you construct a temple, you go and put up a road for people. When summer comes, you organize a camp or a place where people can get good water, drinking water, so that things will be. And it's not only for human beings, but even for other jivas, because we know that there is a problem. So in the summer month, you put a water for the birds to come and drink, let us say. So whatever those extra good things that you are doing, not necessarily yajnas and yagas, etc., these are called the Purtam activities. So here the Rishi is telling these activities which are being done means people, if they're earning merits out of this particular thing, they go to a place called Chandraloka. Why Chandraloka? Again, the idea is the nature of the moon is being brought about here. What is the nature of moon? He goes from the full moon to a new moon and new moon to a full moon. The idea is that when you do karma, you do get a result out of that. And when you, and the moon light is normally taken as something which you enjoy. Means when you go into a full moon night next to a river front, for example, everybody will get that kind of a joy. Oh, such a wonderful night it is. Yeah, that feeling is of joy comes up whenever there is a full moon light is there. And when slowly it reduces, as you go every night, suddenly you find that that joy has disappeared. When the new moon day is there, when there is no moon, then I don't have that joy anymore, and I require to do action once again. So our joy out of actions is exactly like that. Means if suppose I enjoy a particular sweet, I take one sweet, one piece of that gulab jamun and put in my mouth, the enjoyment is very high, full moon, like that. But if I put the second one in my mouth, it is no longer the same kind of joy will come. So it will go down and down and down. And if somebody is fed 15 different gulab jamuns on the same plate, then the joy disappears altogether. So new moon will come. Our actions are also linked like that, that the action that I think will give me give me some joy, the joy that I derive out of that will come down, come down, come down. And then I have to necessarily look for a second karma, a different action for me to give a similar amount of joy. And this slowly it will increase, and I will get the full joy when the second action is taken up. So the cyclical activity that we require to take again and again to gain the same amount of joy is being indicated by the moon. So such people go to Chandraloka, and Gurudev says, if you take up you go to Hawaii for your vacation, and you check in into a wonderful hotel, 5-star hotel, and then you have certain amount of money in your bank which you can spend. You don't have unlimited amount of money. So once the money is over, once whatever you paid is over, you come back from the hotel. Similarly here, he says that you have limited resources in terms of punya that you have earned because of ishtam and purtam. You are done doing activities based on ishtam and purtam, and there is a certain amount of punya that is given to you. But as long as you depend on this dakshina path, means the path of karma, you go to this Chandraloka, and Gurudev says, once that punya is over, the deposit of punya is over, then you require to essentially come back and again take it up the same kind of actions once again. So if you are doing this ishtam and purtam, make sure that you be sure that you will come back. There is no other option for jivas but to come back, as long as you depend on the karma path. This dakshina path is there, you need to definitely come back. That is what it says. Tasmad rishahe praja kamahe dakshinam pratipadyante. So those people, even rishis, who want to come back, means who want the progeny, who want the this one to continue, will choose this dakshina path and do this ishtam and purtam, and those are the people who will come back into the world. So this punya papa is theory is being indicated here. Ta eva punaravartante. They have to come back. There is no other option for them but to come back into the society. Okay? So this Dakshinayinam, Uttarayanam, and we talk about this southern route, that is moon, the route of the moon or the path to the moon is being indicated here. Is it clear what I am telling of Dakshinayinam?
Okay, one question. Both are actions, right? Both are karma.
Correct.
So the difference is only the desire behind it.
Okay.
The desire behind it.
Gurudev does talk about one more aspect here. If you read his commentary, he
I
does
did.
talk about a subtle difference between these two of Ishtam and Purtam. He is talking about Ishtam as slightly different, because here he says that if you do the activities, both are karma, but that activity which is enjoined by Vedas, if you do, you will go to something called a Brahmaloka. And in that Brahmaloka, there is no punaravartante in that sense, but you will still continue to live. And at the time of Laya, when the time of this one, the Lord will give you the knowledge associated, and you will go, and this is, he says, is called as Krama Mukti. He does talk about this Krama Mukti as one of the options that you might have. But again, intention, you're absolutely right. If suppose I'm doing a yaga or a yajna, which is part of the Ishtam aspect which is there, this may be if I am doing for the general good of the society, no personal, no intention of anything for me personally, no selfishness in the goal associated, then you have this Kramamukti option that is there. But if I am doing it for me and my family, for example, very specifically, I want good to happen only to me. For example, even in the yajnas talk about, or the shastras talk about putra kameshti yajna, like Dasharatha has done for Rama. He wanted one putra, he wanted a progeny, he wanted sons to carry on his legacy forward. For example, it is very selfish. It is not for general good of the society that he is doing. And this putra kameshti yajna is available in our shastra. But when one who does that, he doesn't obviously get to go to this particular Brahmaloka. He is just using up some of the punya for this putra kameshti yajna. But there are other good aspects that may enjoin for him as well.
I read this commentary, and it says on the next page, in the middle of this, that for those, purkam or puttikam, whatever it is, says the undercurrent of desire was there, deep within their apparently noble hearts. That's what it says here.
Correct. Intention always has a huge impact on how the result will accumulate to your account.
Yeah, but my thing was, because both are karmas. The one has the desire of getting moksha, and other one has desire of getting good or something done here. That
when we talk about even Purtam, Mohiniji, when we say I am laying this road, for example, or I am constructing a temple, the intention can be very, very generic, and intention can be good for the society, or there is a hidden intention, I will get a name and fame. So I will lay this road, which is used by everybody, but the road will be named as Kapoor Road.
Yeah.
My name will be there for next few years, at least, if not hundreds, in terms of this. So the people do that. Even when they construct a small bench, they will say this is dedicated to this park by so and so, so and so. So the name and fame becomes more important than the general usage by the public in general. So yeah, it depends on many things in terms of what actually accumulates. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Now in the verse 10, we will see the Uttarayana, means the people who follow the path of Jnana. So southern path is path of karma. The northern path is being referred to as path of the Jnana. Yeah. Athotarena tapasa brahmacharyena shraddhaya vidyaya atmanam anvishya dityam abhijayante etadvai prananam ayatanayam etadamrutam abhyam etat parayanam etasman na punaravartanta ityesha nirodha tadesha shlokaha. So here the path of the Uttarayana is being talked about. But those who have sought the Atman by penance, Gurudev says, celibacy, faith, and knowledge gain the sun traveling through the northern route. Uttarayana, the northern. So here, the path of jnana is being told about. Obviously, when we talk about faith, knowledge, penance, celibacy, we are talking about the jnana marga that we are talking about. And this is the home. Home means the goal. The goal of the certain rishis which are there, of all the living creatures, the immortal and fearless. Amritam means the immortalness that is there, and abhayam is free from fear, is abhayam, fearless. This is the highest goal. So the jnana marga, he says, is the highest goal associated. From there, they do not return. Means those people who choose the jnana marga, those people will not come back. Na punaravartante. Punaha means again. Vartante, come back. Na, they don't come back. So na punaravartante ityesha nirodha. Means those people which are there in nirodha means the end of it. For such jivas, this cycle of coming back is nirodha. It ends. So there is no question of those people coming back. Tat eta shloka. Means he is now justifying this particular thing by the next shloka, which is coming from another Veda. So tadesha shloka. As I mentioned, the Brahmana Upanishad that we are reading is supposed to be one step below the Mantra Upanishad. So always Brahmana Upanishads will quote one of the Mantra Upanishads to say that what I am telling is in line with the Mantra Upanishad, is in line with the Vedas. That is how the person is telling. So here, those who sought the Atman by penance. Now, this penance which is there, tapasa, brahmacharyena, shraddhaya, vidyaya. So these four aspects seems to be defining the path of the jnana. The northern, this one, then we talk about. Tapaha, as I mentioned, I think before, people who do tapas somehow try to reduce or limit their activities that will produce joy. So tapas is defined, in fact, in I think in Mahabharata, Dharmaraj, he comes out with definition, is tapas is equal to bhoga sankocha. Bhoga is your enjoyment. As long as you reduce the bhoga, it becomes tapas for you. Suppose you enjoy going out to movies too much. Every day you want to watch at least 2 movies just because they are available. And if you say that deliberately, I will say, now I have to reduce this dependence on movie for my joy. So I will start seeing only 1 film per day. That becomes a tapas for you. This is a other example. But in general, people will take up, I will reduce, I will not eat for 1 day in a week. So that becomes tapas. Means I enjoy, I depend so much on the food for my daily quota of joy. I will now reduce it by 1 day out of a week. Then that becomes a tapas for you. And this is very, very individual, very, very specific to each one of us. We need to understand how I will reduce my dependence on the worldly objects for my joy. And I will become contented with myself, whatever I am, with internal, by internalizing my vision of myself, is what the tapas is all about. And brahmacharyena. Brahmacharya normally is defined by many people as celibacy. It is translated as celibacy, keeping people away from the sexual activities, or person who is not getting married or getting entangled in relationships. That is taken as brahmacharya. But if you take the word meaning of brahmacharya, one who revels in Brahman is brahmacharya. The one who continuously revels in Brahman is the brahmachari that we talk about. So here brahmacharyena means I start thinking about Brahman more and more. So if I'm doing the studies, let us say for once in a week only I touch this particular subject, starting forward, every day I will spend 15 minutes reading something about the Brahman. And I will do meditation. Suppose I do it only once in a week, I will now do it every day, or once in 2 days at least I will do meditation for a week, and I will allot this time that I am spending. So brahmacharyena is more and more be charati. Charati itself means a journey. I move around the Brahman is brahmacharya. So tapasa brahmacharyena shraddhaya. Shraddha, we all know, is depending or understanding the Shastras and Guru Vakya as the truth. So that is Shraddha. So I developed this Shraddha as a general understanding path of my life, become Shraddha, and Vidyaya. I'll gain the knowledge associated with this particular path, that becomes Vidyaya. And Atmanam Anvishyanta. So I not only do all this, what do I put my goal as? Atma. That my own self is the goal. The Atma becomes the goal for myself in this path. And that path is called as the northern path, or the path of Jnana. So Adityam Abhijayante. Abhijayante, I will attain. Those people who do this particular aspect of tapasa, brahmacharya, shraddha, vidyaya, they will attain, they will gain the Atma as their ultimate goal. That is how he says. And those are the people, he says, this must be the goal of all the living creatures. Not only the human beings, it says, this is the home of all living creatures. This is the goal of all living creatures, the immortal and fearless. What is actually the fear that we talk about? Fear of death is the ultimate fear for each one of us. Whether it is a deer, or whether it is a tiger, whether it is human being, fear of death is the ultimate fear that we talk about. People who follow the northern path, people who go through this fourfold of tapasa, brahmacharya, and shraddha, vidya, he says, amrutam. Amrutam, they live forever. Means there is no death associated with such a people, and they will gain the fearlessness. The fear of death will disappear for such people who are on this northern path. This is the highest goal. This is the highest goal. And what is the advantage for such people who are on this path of fourfold path? Is that they do not return. Na punaravartan. Those people, so such jivas will not take birth once again in this particular world, is what is being told. Na punaravartante ityesha nirodha. For them, this is the end of this cyclical path of taking birth, death, birth, death. That particular thing will nirodha. It ends. That is what Tadesha Shloka. Again, he is justifying this. He says there is a mantra which will tell you in Mantropanishad. In other Veda, there is it's a Rig Veda mantra. In Rig Veda, it says there is one more mantra which actually is will justify what I am telling. So, in general, the sun and moon are taken to represent the Vaishvanara, and sun and moon are taken as the duality aspects associated with this creation. And if I try to understand the nature of the sun and nature of the moon with the two aspects that I am seeing around in my creation as the consciousness and the material aspect which is there, I am telling that this material aspect also I can link it to the southern journey and the northern journey of the sun, which I am seeing on everyday basis. I am seeing in Dakshinayana, starting from June to December, whole world around me is full of actions. People go, it's an agrarian society, so full of actions that is there. I take that to represent my southern path, and whoever is depending for joy on the karma, on the action, ishtam and purtam, means those people who are even good people we are talking about, do go through this ishtam and purtam. As long as this ishtam and purtam is there, such people go to Chandraloka and they have to come back once their uh, the punya aspect which is there, deposit which is there is over, you require to punaravartante. Those are the jivas will come back. As long as you depend on for joy on the desire prone actions, such people will come back. Who won't come back? People who choose, few people who choose Uttarayanam. Uttarayanam is the northern part journey. Northern journey is what? Tapasa, brahmacharyena, shraddhaya, vidyaya. Those people who choose this particular path of Uttarayana, for them, na punaravartante, those jivas won't come back. And this is the highest goal of all the jivas one must be looking at. And I am not telling this, Rigveda mantra is telling this. So he comes out with the Rigveda mantra in the next verse, which is verse number 11. We will read, I think we have 5 more minutes. We will read and then we will stop with this. Yeah. Panchapadam pitaram dvadashakrutim diva ahuhu pare ardhe purishinam athe me anya upare vichakshanam saptachakram shadara ahuhu arpitamiti panchapadam pitaram dvadashakrutim diva ahuhu pare ardhe purishinyam athame anya upare vichakshanam saptachakre sadara ahur arpitamiti. So here again what he is trying to say is even Rigveda is bringing out the aspect of sun and moon in terms to understand the dual path that is available for people in terms of the karma and jnana. How that happens, we will see. Pancha padam means one with 5 feet. It says the 5 feet which is there. Pitaram is a father figure which is there at the highest level. Dvadashakrutim, he is with 12 forms. And diva ahuhu, what they say, the sages say, pare means above, ardhe, the ardha is half, pare ardhe purishinam. Purishinam is a term which is given for he is seen as the giver of the rains. Yeah, his giver of the rains is purishinam. Ataha ime anye means many others, they see the same truth as vichakshanam. All wise people, they say sapta chakra. They see this particular thing as 7 chakras associated with shadare, a 6-spoked wheel. A wheel will be there, the outer wheel and the axle. There are joints which are there. These are called spokes. And this 6-spoked chariot, ahuhu, they say, arpitam, is placed in such a way. Generally, what is being taken as a meaning for this, I will explain next week. But I have my own take on this, which also I will try and tell. Basically, what the Gurudev is telling is, the sages say that Lord of the Rain, the Father, having 5 feet and 12 forms, is seated in a higher than atmosphere. And this 5 feet is taken as the 5 seasons. Normally in India, we take as 6 seasons are there. Yeah, but here Hemanta and Shishira is taken as one, as per Shankaracharya and many other commentaries. And is taken as the 5 seasons are there, and Dvadashakrutim. the 12 months. So the whole of solar year, depending on the sun, is divided into 12 months and 5 seasons. Is one way to look at this particular thing. Others say that the sun rays which are there are 12, the 7 chakras, means the 7 colors of the light is being taken, and 6 spoked wheels is again linked to the 6 seasons which are there. So some see it as 5 seasons with Panchapadam, others see it as 6 seasons, but with the sunlight of 7. And first people say that 5 seasons, but 12 months is there. That is how the normal this one is given for this particular verse. Yeah, I have a different take, but we will take it up in the next week. Yeah. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll stop this and then I will ask for any questions if it is there. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.